Welcome! This is Minidisc Monday number 15, and I thought it's about time that I started reviewing my favourite solo artist, definitely my favourite female solo artist, and I think some of you watching are gonna know, well, you'll know anyway because of the title of the video, the thumbnail, but still, you would have guessed who my favourite solo artist is prior anyway. I'm of course talking about the beautiful and talented Enya, formerly of her family band Clannad. Well, I say formerly, she was there for a couple of albums and she was only credited as a proper band member once. She went on in the 1980s to forge a solo career, and this is a breakthrough album, Watermark. So a lot of people think this is Enya's debut solo album. It isn't. Her self-titled debut came out, a year or two before this. That's kind of like a soundtrack to the Celts BBC documentary, and it was released via BBC Records. It didn't do particularly well, but it did get a reissue on Enya's next label, WEA, in the early 90s. So Watermark is Enya's second album. I did do an Enya studio albums ranking last year, and I ranked this pretty high. I think this is number 3 or 4, something like that. And having listened to it again quite recently, I also bought it on vinyl not too long ago. I'm kind of thinking perhaps I should have ranked it even higher. The Enya ranking that I did, that was very fluid. That could change like quite considerably depending on sort of what I've listened to in what order really. But we'll have a little look at the mini disc. So there's only 3 Enya Minidisc albums out. I have them all, so the other 2 will be reviewed at some point during the course of this series. There's the disc, and on the back it lists the tracks and a little bit of legal bump as well. Very nice condition, MD this. The case is in pretty much mint condition. The booklet is nice and glossy. The booklet, I'm assuming, will be very much like the CD one. Just before I get into the tracks on this, I just want to give a little bit of personal background regarding this album, because I remember hearing this album for the first time, and it must have only recently come out, because this would have been around 1988, maybe 89 at the latest. And I was staying with my grandparents. My mum and dad had gone on like some anniversary break somewhere, and I was staying at my mum's parents, and my auntie, my mum's younger sister Gillian, was still living with my grandparents at the time, and we were driving out to Chesterfield, and she put this album on cassette. It would have been obviously in 1988 or 89. Mini discs weren't the thing that early. That's really when I fell in love with Enya. That's when I first thought, wow, this music is so different. I had heard Orinoco Flow prior on Top of the Pops, the Radio 1 Top 40, etc. But just hearing the full album in my Auntie Gillian's car as we were travelling to do a bit of shopping in Chesterfield and get some lunch. That's a memory that's, many years ago now, but it's still one that I can quite vividly recall. So thank you, Auntie Jill, for introducing me to Enya and this album. By the way, this album reached number 5 on the UK album chart. So the tracks, the back of it might be a little difficult for me to read even with the glasses on, but I'm going to persevere. Track 1 is the instrumental title track, Watermark. Fantastic, lovely start. Then, and I'm sorry that I might butcher some of this because I think it's in Latin, this track. Track 2 is Cursum Perfecto. Number 3, On Your Shore. Wonderful. 4, Storms in Africa, that came out as a single. Just a real sort of lovely mesh of world music and the kind of Celtic new age that Enya was pioneering at this time. Track 5 is Exile, which I believe came out as a single, probably in America certainly, maybe other parts of the world, but I don't think it was a single in the UK or Ireland. Please correct me if I am wrong on that. Number 6, Miss Claire Remembers. Number 7 is the big one, the one that everyone knows and the one that basically made Enya into a massive star, Orinoco Flow, often mistitled by people as Sail Away. It's never been called Sail Away, even though that's the obvious repeated refrain in the song. Number 8, another favourite of mine from this album, Evening Falls. This is an album that I do heartily recommend, as you can probably tell. Number 9, River. Number 10, another one that is absolutely fantastic, The Long Ships, as you would expect from the title, a nautically sort of themed song. And the final track, track 11, is something that I'm going to put on screen because it's in the Irish language, the Gaelic language, and there's no chance I'm going to be able to pronounce it properly. So there you go, that's what it's called. Wonderful album. I mean, I'm a massive Enya fan. She's my favourite solo artist. I collect her, I double up on her. I've got this on Minidisc and on vinyl, and the 2 other Enya Minidiscs that I will be showing you in the future, I've got those on vinyl as well. Absolutely a wonderful album, this, and a massive recommendation from me for this Minidisc Monday. So thank you all for watching this today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I want to give special thanks to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm going to go now, and please will you join me again in a fortnight's time for my next edition of Minidisc Monday. Cheers everyone. See ya!